If you're an older man and you think your sex life is behind you, I have to tell you something that may shock you. Some of the most painful regrets I've heard in my career came from men who didn't realize the truth about their sexual health until it was too late. Not because they lost interest, because no one ever told them what was possible. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I'm a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reignite not just their sex lives, but their confidence, their vitality, and their connection with the people they love. And here's the part no one talks about. The biggest breakthroughs in male sexual health are often the simplest, and yet most men never hear about them. That changes today. Because in this video, I'm going to share 5 sex secrets that older men around the world wish they had known earlier in life. These are not gimmicks or shortcuts. They are life-changing truths backed by science and experience. And what I reveal in secret number 3 may completely shift the way you understand your body from this day forward. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so now and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss important health advice designed specifically for men like you. And if you find this video helpful, just type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me improve and serve you better. Now let's dive into the first secret, because this one alone has changed the lives of countless men I've worked with. It's something most people get completely wrong, and it's why so many older men silently struggle without ever knowing the real cause. Here it is. Your ability to have strong, reliable erections isn't just about desire or masculinity. It's a direct reflection of your blood flow and your overall cardiovascular health. Let me explain why that matters more than you've ever been told. 1. Erections are a blood flow issue, not just a manhood issue. I'll never forget one of my patients, a retired firefighter in his late 60s. He came into my office, looked me in the eye, and said, "Doc, I think I've lost what makes me a man." His voice cracked a little when he said it. That moment stuck with me, because what he was really saying wasn't about sex. It was about identity, pride, and the quiet fear that age had taken something away for good. What most men don't realize, and what he didn't know, is that an erection is not just about arousal or testosterone. It's a circulatory event. It's about blood vessels expanding, blood flowing smoothly, and the body responding as it was designed to. The penis is often the first place poor circulation shows up, long before a heart attack or stroke. In fact, erectile dysfunction can be an early warning sign that your cardiovascular system is under stress. That firefighter had been eating a poor diet, avoiding exercise, and brushing off his rising blood pressure. No one ever told him that those habits weren't just hurting his heart, they were damaging his ability to perform and connect. We made a few changes: a daily walk, cleaner meals, a supplement to support vascular health. Within 3 months, he was a different man, not just in bed, but in life. His confidence came back. His smile came back. The reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to know your body still works. It's not broken. It just needs better fuel, better flow, and better care. When you protect your blood vessels, you protect your manhood. And this is not about vanity. This is about vitality, about reclaiming the strength and certainty you thought was gone for good. So if you've been blaming yourself, thinking it's just age or weakness, stop right there. It might be your circulation asking for help. And the good news is, there's a lot you can do starting today. But here's the surprising part. Even with perfect blood flow, some men still struggle. And the reason lies in something far more subtle. Something that quietly rewires the brain and numbs real desire. Let's talk about that next. If you're still here and this message is resonating with you, just type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. I appreciate you being here. And now, let's move on to the second secret. 2. Porn kills real intimacy, especially as you age. Years ago, a man in his early 70s came into my office with a look of quiet frustration. He said, "Doc, I just don't feel anything anymore. I love my wife, but when we're close, it's like my body doesn't respond." He wasn't embarrassed. He was confused, because physically, everything seemed fine. His testosterone was decent, his circulation was okay, but something was missing, something deeper. So I asked him, gently, if he watched pornography. He hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Every night," he said, "just out of habit." That word, habit, stuck with me, because for so many older men, porn becomes a routine that feels harmless but slowly erodes the very thing they're searching for: real, connected pleasure. You see, the brain changes over time, and while porn may give instant arousal, it trains the brain to crave novelty, speed, and visual stimulation. Over time, the brain becomes less sensitive to real human touch, scent, and emotional closeness. And in men over 60, whose neurological pathways are already shifting with age, the impact is even more profound. I've seen this play out over and over. A man finds himself less engaged with his partner. His body doesn't respond the same way. He thinks it's age, or that something's wrong with him. But the truth is, his brain is overstimulated and underconnected. And it's not about shame or judgment, it's about awareness. When that same man took a break from pornography, just for a few weeks, something started to shift. He noticed his wife's voice more. Her touch felt warmer. His body began to respond in new, slower, more meaningful ways, and his desire came back, not as a flash of heat, but as a steady, warm flame. The point is, pleasure changes with age. It becomes deeper, richer, more subtle. But if your brain is stuck chasing pixels and speed, you miss the chance to feel what's real. And while that truth is hard for some men to hear, the next one might surprise you even more. Because it's not just about your brain or your heart, it's about something many men don't even realize they're losing until it's almost gone. Let's talk about that next. 3. Testosterone isn't just about sex. It's about vitality. There's a moment I'll never forget. A patient in his late 60s sat across from me, shoulders slouched, eyes tired. He wasn't here for sexual problems. He said, "I just don't feel like me anymore. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just flat." And right then, I knew what to look for. We ran a few tests, and as I expected, his testosterone levels had quietly dropped to a point where his body was still functioning, but his spirit wasn't. Most people think testosterone is just about sex drive or building muscle, but they miss the bigger picture. Testosterone is energy. It's drive. It's that sense of waking up in the morning with purpose, of moving through life with confidence and presence. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we connect. As men age, testosterone declines naturally, but for some, that drop is steep and silent. They don't notice it overnight. It shows up slowly, in the forgotten interests, the low energy, the lack of motivation, and yes, the fading desire for intimacy. And it's not weakness, it's biology. What breaks my heart is how many men blame themselves. They think they've lost their edge because they're lazy, or that they're just getting old. But when we test their levels and confirm what's really happening, it's like a light goes on. They realize, this isn't me. This is something I can fix. Whether it's through lifestyle changes, diet, sleep, resistance training, or medically guided therapy, there are safe and effective ways to support healthy testosterone as you age. And the changes aren't just physical. I've watched men regain their sense of humor, their curiosity, their passion, for life, for relationships, for themselves. That patient I mentioned? 3 months later, he walked into my office straighter, sharper, and smiling. "I feel like myself again," he said. That's the power of restoring what time slowly takes away. But there's still one more truth many men overlook, something that has nothing to do with hormones, blood flow, or brain chemistry. It's the part of sex that most people never talk about, but often matters the most as we grow older. Let me show you what that is next. If you're still watching and these insights are speaking to you, go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments, just so I know you're still here and engaged. Let's keep going now with the 4th secret. 4. Intimacy is built outside the bedroom. I remember a man in his 70s, married for over 40 years, who came to see me, not because he was struggling with performance, but because his wife had grown distant. "She's kind," he said, "but we don't touch anymore. It's like we're roommates." He wanted to fix things in the bedroom, but what he really wanted was connection. And that starts long before you ever touch the sheets. Over the years, I've learned that the most fulfilling intimacy in later life often has very little to do with sex itself. It's built in the small, quiet moments, rubbing her shoulders while she's making tea, holding her hand on a walk, sitting close without saying a word. These gestures may seem small, but they send a message louder than words. I see you. I'm here with you. You still matter to me. What many men don't realize is that emotional closeness is the foundation for physical intimacy, especially as we age. The body changes, desire changes, but connection, the kind that brings warmth, confidence, and deep satisfaction, can actually grow stronger with time if we nurture it. And I get it. For many men, especially those who grew up in a generation that didn't talk openly about emotions, this can feel unfamiliar, but I've seen firsthand how powerful it can be when a man takes the first step, when he starts expressing affection again, when he listens without trying to fix, when he leans into presence instead of performance. The man I mentioned earlier didn't need a prescription. He needed a reminder that intimacy starts long before the bedroom. Within a few months of small changes, touching her back as he passed, telling her she looked beautiful, showing up without expectation, the distance melted. They didn't just reconnect, they rediscovered each other. And that's what I want you to remember. The most meaningful intimacy is built in everyday moments. It's not about grand gestures, it's about presence, respect, and love that's felt, not just performed. But even with deep emotional connection, many men still face one final barrier, the belief that it's too late to change, that their best years are behind them. In truth, nothing could be further from reality. And that brings us to the final secret, perhaps the most important one of all. 5. It's never too late to change. And your future self will thank you. I once had a patient in his mid-70s, recently retired, living alone after the loss of his spouse. He walked into my office with a kind of quiet resignation in his voice. "I'm not expecting much," he said. "I just want to know if there's anything left for me." He wasn't talking about just sex, he was talking about life. He felt like his best days were behind him, like he was slowly fading into the background. What he didn't realize, and what many men don't, is that the human body and spirit are incredibly adaptable, even in later years. Change is always possible. Growth doesn't stop when you hit 60 or 70 or even 80, but what does change is how you approach that growth. At this stage of life, it's less about speed and more about direction. It's about choosing to stop accepting discomfort as normal, choosing to reconnect with your body, your partner, and your sense of self. With some encouragement, that man began walking every morning. He cleaned up his diet, started socializing again, even joined a local book club, which, he admitted with a laugh, was mostly women. And something happened. His energy shifted. His posture straightened. His sense of humor returned. And when I asked how things were going in that more personal part of life, he smiled and simply said, "I didn't know I could still feel this good." That's what I want you to remember. It's not about turning back the clock. It's about turning forward with intention. Whether it's your physical health, your emotional connection, or your intimate life, there is still time to make changes that matter. And the best part is, the man you'll be 6 months from now will thank you for what you start today. And if you're wondering how to start, how to actually apply all these changes day by day, then what I'm going to share next is exactly what you need. Because in the upcoming video, I'll walk you through a simple, powerful morning routine designed specifically for older men that boosts energy, supports testosterone, and helps you feel more alive before the day even begins. Final open loop. Tease upcoming video. Over the years, I've learned that change doesn't always start with big, dramatic decisions. Sometimes it starts with the first thing you do in the morning, a small choice, a quiet moment, a routine that becomes a rhythm that becomes a mindset, and a mindset that starts changing your life from the inside out. One of the most common questions I get from men after we've had these conversations is simple, but powerful. They ask, what do I actually do now? Not in theory, but today, in real life. How do I begin? That's why in the next video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step morning routine I personally recommend to my older male patients. It's built for men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, and it focuses on 3 essential things: boosting natural testosterone, increasing blood flow, and elevating energy and focus, all before breakfast. No gimmicks, no expensive supplements, no intense workouts. Just a thoughtful series of habits that, when done consistently, can completely shift how you feel, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. I've seen men adopt this routine and come back to me after just a few weeks with a different look in their eyes, more alert, more grounded, more hopeful, and often, for the first time in a long time, more proud of themselves, not because they became someone new, but because they finally started taking care of the man they already were. If you've ever felt like your mornings just drag you into the day instead of setting you up for it, or if you felt stuck in low energy, low mood, and lower drive than you remember, then this next video might be the reset button you didn't know you needed. And as you begin making changes, it's important to remember, this journey is not just about what you fix, it's about what you reclaim, your strength, your clarity, your sense of purpose. And in a moment, I'll leave you with one final thought to carry with you, because everything we've talked about today points to one powerful truth you won't want to forget. Conclusion. If there's one thing I've learned after decades of listening to men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, it's that no one really teaches us how to age well as men. We're taught how to work hard, how to provide, how to push through. But when it comes to our health, our relationships, our sense of self, we're often left figuring it out alone, in silence. That's why these 5 sex secrets matter so much. They're not just about improving function, they're about returning to a life that feels full, alive, and deeply connected. You now know that your erections are more about blood flow than ego, and that caring for your heart is also caring for your manhood. You've heard how pornography, while tempting, can steal real intimacy without you even noticing. You've seen how testosterone shapes far more than your sex life. It powers your energy, your mood, and your drive to live with purpose. We also talked about how intimacy begins outside the bedroom, in quiet, meaningful gestures that build trust and connection over time. And finally, we faced the truth that no matter how old you are, it's never too late to change. Never too late to take a walk, to hold someone's hand, to look in the mirror and see not someone who's fading, but someone who's evolving. These aren't just medical facts. They're lessons I've witnessed in the lives of real men who chose to lean into life again instead of stepping quietly away from it. And you can too. If something in this video spoke to you, if even one insight made you think, maybe it's not over, then hold on to that. Let it be the beginning of a new chapter. Because I can tell you this with complete honesty, there is more life, more connection, and more joy ahead than you may realize. And if you're ready to take that next step, I'll be right here, guiding you, one morning, one habit, one decision at a time. If this video brought you value, I'd be truly grateful if you took a moment to like and share it with someone who might need it. These conversations often go unspoken, but together, we can help more men feel seen, supported, and informed. I also want to hear from you. Leave a comment below, whether it's a question, a story, or just a simple, "I'm here." Your voice matters. And if you'd like to support this channel so I can continue bringing you thoughtful, honest content for men in their later years, you can find the donation link in the description. Every bit of support helps keep this message alive. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself. And remember, you're not done growing, learning, or connecting, not even close.